rebuilding. The catastrophic failure, a new start. Physically, mentally, our careers, our businesses. Step back, first step, next step. The driver in me just wants to get it done tomorrow. We'll do this, do that, let's move this, where are we at with this? You build some confidence, build some self-esteem, start to feel better about yourself. The Silverback Blueprint Podcast, a show for men over 40. We focus on getting stronger, staying motivated, building discipline, creating a community, and becoming truly happy. Hey there, and welcome to episode 146 of the Silverback Blueprint Podcast. Time. Very dramatic, time. As we get older, time becomes a thing for us. A lot of you people listening to this are in their 40s and 50s. Some of you smarter people are in your 20s and 30s, and you're tuned into this and learning some shit and getting things done, saving yourself a bunch of time. Very, very important. But for a lot of us, for myself, I like to think that I'm halfway through my time on this planet. I do want to live to be 100. I want to truly live to be 100. I don't want to be rotting in a chair for the last 22 years of that. So I truly want to make the best of my second half. In fact, our whole business, our whole motto, this whole podcast, hostile conditioning, our main focus are men and women over 40, over 50, over 60. The whole premise of this podcast is men over 40 rebuilding their lives, creating the second half, the best half, the fulfilling half, because time is becoming more relevant to us. In fact, our most valuable commodity is time, because we don't get it back. Once we expend it, it's gone. You know, when we're younger, we spend all our time making money, and then when we get older, we spend all our resources trying to make time. And the interesting thing about time is that we can get so much done. But when we're young, we feel like we have a lot of time to get everything done. As we get older, we feel like we're running out of time. And then this weird thing happens. We feel like, what's the use? We feel like we feel like giving up. In the last week or so, a couple cool things have happened. One of them was a friend of mine celebrated her 50th birthday, a friend from high school. One of the people I always liked and I'm always happy to talk to. Super positive girl. She had her birthday, and it was really cool to be part of it. I was really happy that she invited me. Saw a lot of other people I haven't seen in a long time, and we're all obviously in our 50s. I'm 50. Some of them are 51. Some of them are 49. Whole room full, for the most part, of over 50. So I sat back at one point, and I just kind of watched the crowd. And I was looking to see who was happy and who wasn't happy. And then who was just drunk and happy because they were drunk. It's a party. That's what's going to happen. And it was interesting. I knew a few of the people. I've known some of them since grade school, elementary school, high school. And to sit there now, 35 years later, 40 years later, you get to see how people have progressed or not progressed. So in the conversations I was having, catching up, having fun, sharing pictures of family, things and stuff like that, things that we're proud of, I was paying attention to the language being used. I was paying attention to what people were saying. And a lot was being said, even with a few words. There were some truly happy people. There were some truly unhappy people. There was people you could tell were frustrated. But you could tell there were some people that had given up. And to me, sitting there, seeing sort of those three different levels, always makes me think. Makes me think, where am I sitting on that scale? I definitely haven't given up. And for a lot of it, I am pretty happy. But there's a good part of me that's in the middle. A little frustrated, not happy where I'm at yet because I know there's a lot of things I still want to do. So I was thinking about that. Is that okay for me to be there? I think it is, because it's what's driving me to keep going. It's driving me to want to keep moving forward. Because the other thing, too, is I don't want to sit there and feel that I've arrived, unless I truly feel I've arrived. If I'm sitting there and I'm vacationing in Greece every year for 6 months and, everyone around me is doing well and that kind of stuff, then I've arrived. In fact, for me, that's kind of the vision that I'm seeing for myself, where I want things to be. So that's what's driving me forward. That's what's making me want to keep improving personally, physically, mentally, financially, business-wise. That's part of my end game. Right? So at the end of the day, I think there'll be a few of us in our 50s that are there. And I think that's interesting, and I want to be around that. I want to see what that looks like. I want to see how that manifests itself. So that's part about, adjusting where I hang out with, what my surroundings are, who my circle of 5 is. For the most part, I think there's a lot of people that are still striving to be there, to get there. And to me, that's where I want to, that's where I want to be. I want to be in that flow. I want to be in that current, moving towards that goal with other people, moving towards that goal. That's where I want to be. That's where my surroundings need to be. And then part of my mission and my passion and wanting to help people is to help those that feel like they're stuck and it's over. Because I don't want it to be that way for me, and I don't want it to be that way for you. So if I can sit there and doing what I do as my life's work, which is help people improve, get stronger physically, mentally, achieve their goals, right? What that is important for me. That's what I've become, and who I want to become better at. I want to help everyone here listening to get better, to enjoy that second half, to turn around and take time and not fear it, but embrace it and work with it. And I want to be around people that are doing it, currently doing it, because that's going to keep me moving forward. But then I want to keep an eye on the people that are there. And part of my curiosity, too, is when I think someone's there, I want to know if they truly are there. And what does that look like? Are they there in every aspect of their life? I want to find that one guy who's got this shit done and, who's achieved those things. The old man on the top of the mountain. I want to find that. Or old woman on the top of the mountain. I don't give a fuck. Because I know that's where I'm going to be able to learn. That's what's going to motivate me. That's going to give me a target. That's going to give me something to look at. So I'd like to think I'm in the upper 2/3 where I'm moving towards things. I still have the desire to keep fighting and move forward and improve with my eye on that prize. But at the same time, I want to be able to reach back behind me and pull as many people up at the same time. So all that comes around to talk about time. Because all this is happening with the fact that we have less time every day to achieve this. We have less time every day to get these things done. And I think it can be a powerful motivator. But at the same time, we want to be careful it doesn't become something that becomes negative. To the point where you say, fuck it, what's the use of doing it? I live in a house, I'm fed, I don't have to work any harder. I don't want to get stuck there. Too many people are there. Too many people are in dead-end jobs where they just hate what they do. But you know what? It helps pay their bills. They live for their vacation. And even then, they don't enjoy their vacation because physically and mentally they're not healthy. So even when they have time off, they don't take advantage of it. And they're miserable. So we definitely don't want to be there. That's where a lot of people get stuck. That's where some of the people that weekend, that party, were stuck. Miserable driving their new car. Unhappy, even though they have a cottage to go to. Because I guarantee you, some of them thought, hey, if I buy a new car, if I can afford a new car every 2 years, I'm going to be happy. but a lot of people aren't. If I can go on vacation 2 or 3 times a year or once a year, I'm going to be happy. But a lot of those people aren't. If I have a cottage I can go to every weekend and stuff like that, surely I'll be happy. But they're not. And I know people have none of that are fucking happy and are working towards something. So we get back to time. One of the things I run into a lot as excuses is when people tell me they don't have time. They don't have time to work out. They don't have time to food prep. And it's all a lie. It's a lie they've told themselves. What they're really saying is, this isn't important enough for me to allocate some time in my day to do it. It's not that they don't have time. It's not a priority. It's not that they don't have time. It's uncomfortable and they don't want to face it. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to be out of breath. They don't want to be sore. They don't want to have to get up from the couch and go to the gym. They don't want to get up from the couch and go to the grocery store, shop the outer ring of the grocery store where the foods are, not the crap in the middle, and take some time and prep food. They'd rather turn around and order from Uber Eats. It's gotten so bad that it's not even like we go through fucking drive-thru anymore. We don't have to get out of the car. We don't even have to get out of the house anymore. For years, the only thing you could ever order in was pizza or Chinese food. Now you can order everything in. Right? And then the guy says, it saves you time. Yeah, you're going to gain some time back on that, but at what expense? What are you taking that time that you're saving and what are you doing with it? For the most part, people aren't doing anything positive with it. They're doing the same shitty things that get them unhealthier every fucking day, every week. There's a really cool theory out there. We had to look it up because I couldn't remember the guy's name, and I know I've misquoted it 17 times. And Parkinson's law talks about work expands as to fill the time available for its completion. So if we have an 8-hour time window to do a certain thing, most of us will take that 8 hours. If we have a whole week to get something done, we'll take the whole week. And even then, we'll end up doing it at the last minute. We've all been in that situation where it's Sunday night and we had to get something done for Monday. Where if we just had some little bit of structure and planned on some things, we would have got it done sooner. And it would get done sooner if it was a priority. It would be done sooner if we had a better organized day. If we had some rituals whereby we organize our head, our thoughts, our mindset to make ourselves more productive. So when someone tells me that they don't have time to do something, 99.9% of the time, it's a lie they're telling themselves because they don't want to admit that they haven't made it a priority. Because these same people that are telling me they don't have time for food prep, they don't have time for exercise, I see many of these people posting the beer they're drinking on Facebook. I see many of them posting the wicked dessert they're eating on Facebook. We're doing something with our time. We're filling those voids. It astonishes me how many people tell me they only sleep 4 or 5 hours a day, but when you find out and have them break down their days to what they're doing, it's not that they're working all night. Some do, but most don't. It's not like they're carrying on some major project or mission in their life where they're just so caught up in it that they're not realizing that they're tired and it's 2 a.m. and they better get to bed. Very few people are in that. But what they are doing is filling those voids with things that just waste our time. Watching TV, hanging out at the pub. I'm just going in for a beer after the game, 4 hours later. And you know what? If that's where you're happy, you want to spend your life, that's okay. But then don't turn around and say you don't have time for the positive things that need to get done, that should be done, that you know will make you happier and more fulfilled and healthier. It's that lie that we have to stop telling ourselves. It's that lie that we have to stop putting forward. Because people that are truly effective and truly busy and truly have a lot of things to do and do have a lot to get done in the same amount of time, you know what some of their priorities are? Eating good food, exercising every day to give them the energy so they can operate at a higher level. These people take the same 24 hours in a day that you and I have and do 10 times the amount of activity, and still have time to be relaxing, still have downtime, still have time to take vacation. In fact, because they've mastered their time and how they allocate it and use it, they have more time to do these things. So it's not that they have more hours in a day than we do. They've flipped this switch. They sit there and say, I have the same 24 hours a day every day. I need to make sure I'm rested, I'm well fed, and I'm physically prepared to go out and get things done. They get more done in an hour than some people get done in an entire day because they're organized, they're determined, they have a system. The days where I'm on top of my rituals in the morning and I'm on top of my journaling, I get 10 times the amount of work done in the same amount of time with less effort and stress. The days when I don't do it, I'm behind the 8 ball. I'm catching up. I'm tired. It's the same 24 hours. It's the same for all of us. We want to turn around and say these people are gifted. We want to turn around and say, the people that are achieving this stuff have superhuman abilities. They don't. We all have gifts. What they have, though, is rituals. What they have is standards. What they have is a big vision that they're going after that makes them need to have to stay on top of their time and their allocation of time. They have a huge why, and they're connected to it at a high level of emotion. And they're doing it because it's important to them. That's where we need to be. We need to find that thing. We need to create those whys. We need to turn around and say, listen, I have 24 hours today, and I'm going to take the next 2 hours and be super productive. I'm going to take that same amount of time that I had yesterday, and I'm going to get twice as much done. And next week, I'm going to take that same amount of time, and I want to double that overall. They'll talk about gamifying it. It's a game. It's a challenge for them. How much can they get done? They'll start to systemize things. They'll realize that if I take that same hour of time I have and I put a little system together on how to do this thing I have to get done, they'll get more of it done in the same amount of time. So they didn't add more time. What they added was more productivity to that same amount of time. That's what we need to do. It's the rituals. It's how we look at that time. It's the why we have in our day, what our goal is, and what we want to achieve. If we're 40, if we're 50, we're 60, we have still a lot of time on this planet, but what we need to do is maximize it and maximize ourselves so we get the most out of it. That means we need to be healthier. We need to be stronger physically and mentally and emotionally. We need to be more energetic. That means we have to eat better. We have to plan better. We have to sleep and rest better. We have to do the maintenance on ourselves to allow us to operate at a higher level. But that takes work, motherfuckers. And that work is only worth it if we have a huge reason why we want to do it. And being happy and fulfilled, truly actualize and become who we want to be, to realize our full potential, that's what we need to look at. What does that look like? Spend some time thinking about that. If you come back and you do this exercise and you plan on it and you look at it and you spend the time and you try to think about who do you want to be, what is the ultimate day? We've talked about that before. And if it comes out that your ultimate day is you working at your job, doing a good job, having a good salary, having your vacation, spending time with your family, if that's truly who you want to become and who you want to be, I think it's fantastic. But even if you do that and you spend time looking at that, you'll get better at being that. If you're going to be a dad, be the best fucking dad you can be. If you're going to be a husband, be the best fucking husband you can be. If you're going to be a business owner, be a best fucking business owner you can be. If you're going to work for someone, make it so they fucking appreciate the fact that you work for them. Make it so that you're an integral part of that company. Make it so that you're the best version of yourself. Often people will ask, well, I don't know if I want to be a business owner. I said, then don't be a fucking business owner. Who says you have to be a business owner? You can be a fucking tour guide in another country. If that really makes you fucking happy, that's what you should be doing. It's not about my dream, your dream, someone else's dream. It's about your dream. Find out what that is. And then that's what you go after, and that's what you do. You owe it to yourself. Time is running out. There is less time. There's no time for us to be unhappy anymore. But just do it the right way. Be fulfilled. Make your life matter and go after it. At the end of the day, guys, we have lots of time and we're running out of time all at the same time. It's how we decide to use that. That's a resource, our most valuable resource, like I said earlier. So treat it that way. Guys, that's all I have to say on that for now. Head on over to iTunes. Leave us a 5-star rating, a positive review. Head on over to hostilegear.com, hostilegear.com, where you can get a time-bending hostile hoodie. Use the code word Silverback. Save 20%. And as always, guys, work hard, motherfuckers, and I'll talk to you guys later.